Yes.
Yeah. So let's stay with Anne. So like Anne, for instance, has a lot of things that she needs to reprogram her mind around. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So you need to pick them, you need to win battles in those areas. Obviously, you know them, some of those things that are slowing you down. You've also gone through therapy, like you said. I'm sure part of therapy is reprogramming your mind around those. Am I correct?
That's correct. But doesn't mean, I mean, sometimes you still fail even with therapy. I mean, you still it's to reprogram your mind that some of the things that you're thinking about is not true. Because
Yeah,
your mind is the battlefield. I mean, there are times that, I mean, this past week I'm like, oh, I have to give up on my therapy because it's like whatever they are teaching me. Yeah, it's like I feel like I lost it this weekend, this past week, and I'm like, it's like I'm not getting anything. I think I need to cancel my therapy. So, but my that I told my husband, I said, I give up on myself, And so my husband's like, no, you can't give up on yourself because
absolutely.
yeah, the therapy is helping you. You are the one thinking that you're not being, you're not growing, but you are growing. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
my therapist says sometimes that I will lose it. She'll say, hell yeah,
Yes,
you fail, but you just have to keep on. She wants to see more wins than more losses, right?
absolutely.
So yeah, it's. I mean, a lot of things in our lives are the lies that the enemy has told us, and
Uh-huh.
we are believed, and
Uh-huh.
a lot of the things in our lives are the things that your our peers growing up, the church
Mm-hmm.
have told us, and we have
Mm-hmm.
believed,
Mm.
and breaking those things down, it's a lifelong process because those are the lies that we have believed, and it has programmed our lives in the way we see the world and the way that we live our lives. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah, like my son will tell me one day I was talking to my son. I said, "Oh, Jonathan, do this, da, 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 da." And it's like, "Oh, mama, mama, you just do whatever you want." And I was like, "Okay, that's not nice." But he's able to express himself. But me growing up, I could never say that to my parents. But
Absolutely.
now I'm telling him that he's rude, but he's not being rude. He's just telling mama to do what she wants.
Yeah.
So a lot of the lies that in my life, a lot of things, the things that I believe, the things that I still believe, and the things that, like you said, like your conscious, you say your conscience, right? Your conscience is not it's not God because
Absolutely.
your conscience would lie to you. So many things. One time it's like cut your hair, cut, this, and you're like, okay, is this God? And I had to like go back. I'm like, well, why would God want me to? What's his benefit? But these are the
Yeah.
things that are so strong in your life. Your conscience telling your voice of your spirit, and you think it is God. And sometimes 99%, well, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
So it's like
Absolutely.
I have to fight with that thought for a day or two and say no, it cannot be. And
Yes.
yeah, but I guess the more that you reprogram your mind with the word of God,
Absolutely.
the easier it becomes. So the
Absolutely.
work, we have to put in the work. I have to put in the
Absolutely.
work, and
Yeah.
putting the work is not easy. Yeah, sometimes.
Absolutely. 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 You see, if you, the first level of therapy is you listening to your therapist and doing what your therapist is saying you should do. But there's a next level where you need to take ownership of the process,
Right.
right? You must take ownership of the process, right? You must understand what the therapist is trying to do, then do it intentionally,
Right.
not just because the therapist said I should do it, right? For as long as you're doing it just because the therapist said I should do it, there's a detachment from the process. You're not married to the process. The therapist is between you and the process. So we would say when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Right.
When the candidate is ready, the therapist appeared, and the therapist is taking you through the process. Now, when the student is really ready, the therapist, the teacher disappears, right? So the therapist has introduced you to the process, but at some point in time, you need to take ownership of it. That means you need to understand what is being achieved and then begin to look at how best that it will apply to you as a person, because you're different, right? Your therapist process is a general way of talking to people as a generality, but we're not the same. The issues of battling are not the same. The therapist cannot know exactly who you are on the inside. All he can know is who you are telling him that you are. But you know yourself more than you can explain to any other person. So there is a place where you get to understand the process and what is being achieved, such that you take ownership of it and begin to apply it to yourself far and beyond what the therapist is able to do. You understand that?
Right.
Yeah. So it's a process. It's a process, I would not be doing this, coming live, every day, where I have videos of myself, the whole world is watching me. This is not who I am. This is not my natural tendency, right? I grew up an introvert. I grew up as a shy person. No, nobody sees shyness in me, right? But shyness is kind of close to introversion. They are not the same, but close. An introvert will typically have a weakness towards being shy, right? But though they are not the same. So that's why I grew up as a shy person, because I'm an introvert, right? But I'm not your normal everyday introvert, because I have a bit of not a bit, I am a sigma personality, meaning that I am the introvertic equivalent of an extrovert. So if I get into some environments, everybody will think I am an extrovert, right? But extrovertic or introvertic has nothing to do with the way I speak or the way I present myself. It only talks about the way I get my energy, right? People misunderstand it and think, oh, introversion is equal to quiet, and extroversion is equal to loud. Yes, in a sense that's correct, but it's not all the way correct. The real difference between the two is one gets his energy in solitude, the other one gets his energy in company. That's all that's different between the two of them. Did that make any sense? Any question for me on all I said?
No.
No, all right, yeah. So, so to be able to do this, now I was just going through some recordings I did 2 years ago, and I was cringing. I was like, I did that. Because I also grew up as a perfectionist, right? I love crossing all my T's and doing my I's, and I'm looking at myself. It didn't meet the perfect standard I have for myself, but that's 2 years ago, right? I have grown in doing this. Every presentation I do, every time I have a chance to do this book club, the prayer meeting, I'm learning something, I'm getting better. So when I look at what I did 2 years ago, it's like, if I have to look at that before I started, I would never have started this. But I've also grown. I'm a recovering perfectionist, right? I've recovered from being that. Being a perfectionist is a weakness, not a strength, right? You understand that, right? Any question on that? Kevin, you said something. Go ahead, and you were saying something.
Oh no, I said perfectionism can be a weakness.
Not can, it is a weakness.
It's a weakness. Yeah. Trying to
weak.
perfect everything.
I've lived the life, so I know it is a weakness. When you're a perfectionist, you are always too conscious, overly conscious of yourself.
And
you are
others.
too conscious of yourself and the way you think others are looking at you.
Right.
So you're so conscious that you think everybody has no other job to do but you. Right. You make a mistake and you think the whole world has recorded that and they won't forgive you. Whereas nobody saw your mistake. You're just dying for you're dying for nothing. You know what thought that you did wrong that everybody's thinking about. If you ask people around, they will say, "You mean what?" Some people won't like it, whereas you are dying.
Yeah, it's true.
Kevin, were you going to say something when I talk about perfectionism?
Yes, I wanted to say that although it has a what I feel it has a positive side and also has a negative side. I don't know which of them outweighs the other.
All right, go ahead. They tell us the positive, tell us the negative.
Okay, I feel it for me, I feel being a perfectionist, although it needs flexibility sometimes when it comes to relating with other persons, I think it needs more flexibility because persons are not the same way like the other person. People
Yes.
differ, but when it comes to me, I feel it makes you um, check yourself every time and keep up with the check to always check if you are up to standard and all. That's the positive part I think it's about.
Yeah, well, so I used to be a perfectionist. So what has not changed about me is that I do everything to perfection. Not to, well, let me not use the word I use, do everything to perfection. No, I don't do everything to perfection, because doing everything to perfection means that I'm pushing till it's perfect. The truth is that nothing can be perfect. Everything can always be done better. Also, it's a function of how much time that you have. If I have 1 year to do a thing, I can get a better level of perfection out of it than if I have 1 day to do a thing. So you have to then be reasonable with how much time you have and what is really truly being expected and what is the value of what you're doing, right? If I put all my energy to something that doesn't make a difference in the big scheme of things, it's a wrong use of my energy, right? So a perfectionist doesn't do all this consideration, but the reality of life is you need to always consider the intent, purpose of what you're doing. Does it need this amount of time to be devoted to it? What difference will it make? You know, if I make this level of perfection, will it necessarily make a difference? Will it, you know? So you have to be realistic as to the expectation around the thing that you're doing, you know, so that as much as you want to do your best work, you know when to stop, right? So you're not just, and also when you're doing it, you have to also not do your level of excellence because you're trying to impress people. That's the problem with perfectionism. A perfectionist is outside focus, not inside focus. You see, perfection is always thinking, what will people say? What will people say? What will people say? So what you are doing, you're trying to impress people, right? You will die. You just kill yourself before your time by trying to impress people. One, they don't even care. They are not looking at it. You are just wasting your time. Then you start getting sorrowful that people didn't appreciate you because they don't care about what you are putting your energy around, right? So it's not about impressing people. It's about expressing yourself. Your focus has to be expressing yourself, not impressing people, you know. So those are the reasons why being a perfectionist, it's a weakness, right? Because perfectionism is all about what will people say, right? Life should be me doing my best, right? Expressing who I am, expressing the essence of my creation, leaving my signature on the things that I do, not trying to be a pleasing people, you know. So yes, there's a place for excellence working, but it's not perfectionism, because perfectionism as an attribute itself is a weakness because of the focus. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I get it, sir.
Yeah, we're not here saying that you should not do an excellent work. You must have a good work ethic. You must have you must have an eye for excellence, but not about impressing people, but expressing who you are.
True. True.
You know, so that's why it's a weakness. You know, yeah, yes, yeah. So let me just summarize what we've said. You know, it's all about, you know, we need to have a level of excellence that our high, we need to determine for ourselves what's the value system we want to live our lives by. Obviously, we've all come through different growth system, different background. Therefore, I need to ask myself, what from my background is working for me? What from my background is not working for me? Build on the ones that are working, then address the ones that are not working for me, whether by going through therapy session, or whatever I need to do. I need to know those things not working for me will always be a stumbling block in my way, right? My work, when I used to work in the field, involved giving report over the radio or over the phone. That was terrible. I remember one time I had to do it. It was like me talking out of the body, because I was so conscious for it to be perfect. It was like I just recorded everything I wanted to say in my head, and I was just speaking. There was no association between me and what I was saying. It was like it was an out of body experience. Same thing happens when I have to do prayer, in public. I'm so conscious of what people will say when I'm using the right words. When I got baptized in the Holy Spirit, for a long time I couldn't pray in the Holy Spirit in public because I'm trying to compare what I'm saying to what people are saying. So it could be a limitation in a lot of ways. But we can deliver ourselves from that. Again, being a perfectionist doesn't help you. It won't help you. Part of perfectionism is second guessing. Second guessing is the power of perfectionism. And both of those will only get you depressed. You'll always be in other people's shadow. Because you're too concerned about whether you are up to it or not up to it. So we need to deliver ourselves from all of that. Simple fact. You are you and you are enough. Irrespective of who you are. You are you and you are enough. You are enough. Though you can get better from where you are, but you are enough where you are right now, because that is your starting point, right? Irrespective of where you are enough. Don't let anybody pull you down. You are enough irrespective of where you are. You can get better, but you are enough. So there's no need to second guess yourself. There's no need to try to be anybody. You just need to be yourself. And you are the best at being yourself. You are important. You make a difference. We need to tell ourselves that. It's not going backwards to become better. You are better. You are best where you are right now. You can only go forward, not backwards. And we need to tell ourselves that, and build ourselves from there and protect that value system, So we'll continue with that next week, God willing. Thanks. You see, it's always great when I have you all around and we can discuss all of this rather than me just talking in a monotone. So thanks for increasing the value of this time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a great week ahead. God bless you.
You too. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.